Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I am Minhal Sheikh and I warmly welcome you all to the Lums Executive MBA Webcast, which is your opportunity to connect with Lums to get to know more about the Lums Executive MBA Program, its benefits and the experience that this program offers through our esteemed faculty member, through our alumni and of course through our current bright students. So I am live today here from Lums with a great group of people who are here to address all of your queries very soon, and I hope you all are ready with your list of questions as well. So let me take this opportunity to introduce the panel that we have today for today's session. I'll start off with the introduction of Mr. Asad Alam, who is the Program Director for Lums Executive MBA Program, and he is also working with Lums Suleiman Daud School of Business as Assistant Professor. Sitting right next to me is Mr. Umar Ghuman, who is head Samsung Business Mobile for Pakistan and Afghanistan region, and who is also our alumni, Executive MBA alumni from class of 2014. Sitting next to Mr. Umar Ghuman is Ms. Aima Kamar, who is working with KPMG, which is one of the big four accounting firms, and who is also our Executive MBA alumni from class of 2017. Sitting next to Mr. Asad Alam is Mr. Furqan Ali Akhtar, who is the head operations for SGC Pakistan, and who is also our Executive MBA alumni from class of 2018. And sitting next to Mr. Furqan is Ms. Uzma Hussain, who is working with Faisal Bank as Senior Relationship Manager, and who is also the Executive MBA alumni from our class of 2018. So, ladies and gentlemen, at Lums, we aim to attract the best. And through such kind of online gatherings, we believe this is the best and the excellent way to not only reach out the message, but also to spread our message across the globe. And such kind of gatherings, we believe, also gives our potential audience the personal perspective about Lums, and at the same time, it also gives a potential audience a chance to get an honest advice about the Lums programs, the career pathways, the benefits of the program through our esteemed alumni. So without any further delay, I would like to request Mr. Asad Alam, who is the Executive MBA Program Director, to please share with us some insights about the Lums Executive MBA Program and about what this program has to offer.
Thank you, Minhal. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll give you a brief background of the program. How does it fit into your career, but before that, I would really like to welcome the rest of the panel. All of them are former students or current students. So Furqan is currently still enrolled. He's finishing up, and I thought it would be a good idea that any questions that you may have about how much time does it take to do this executive MBA while you're still working, I think they will be the best people to actually answer these questions. And then what kind of a boost they got after they graduated. So I think Aima and Umar would be able to answer those questions and how Executive MBA at Lums helped them, promote their careers. So as far as Executive MBA at Lums is concerned, it's a degree. It's not a certificate. It takes about 2 years, so a little shy of 2 years, 22 months. And it's divided into 5 different modules. So each module, it's thematic. So the first module is business fundamentals. The second one is managing organization and managing people. The third one is cost, value, and innovation. The fourth module is law and entrepreneurship, and the fifth module is managing the future. There is an executive MBA project that you have to do in the second year. And there's also an opportunity to go to Silicon Valley for our Globalization Module, where you get to interact, you get to take classes from faculty members from universities like UC Berkeley, from Brown University, as well as Stanford. We also go for different field visits, which includes companies like Oracle, which includes companies like Google, Apple, Sequoia Capitals, you name it. So all the big names that you may have heard of, we get to go and visit and basically interact. The best thing is we get to interact with Lums alumni who are working for these companies. So that kind of is the added bonus, that these are the places that you already have the network, the Lums network effect, which is the strongest, I believe, in Pakistan. So I think the most important thing that you would gain by getting admission in Executive MBA is the peer group. And I think there is no other Executive MBA in Pakistan where the average experience is over 10 years. So we are very, very happy that our average experience for our batch is roughly about 13 years. And so we have some of the most senior students career-wise, and they come back, and then the kind of opportunity or the kind of networking that you get to do in through Lums alumni network is just amazing. So it can only help you or promote your career. With that, I'll open it up to questions. And any questions that you have, you may direct it to one of the panelists, or you can have an open-ended question, and then one of us can answer that question.
Thank you, Mr. Asad, for sharing very, very valuable information with all of us. So we have a question from Mr. Sohail Nawaz, and he is basically interested in knowing about the eligibility criteria that we have for the Executive MBA program.
Okay, I can take that one. So the minimum work experience that is required for to be eligible for Executive MBA is 6 years. So the minimum required is 6 years, but we are very, very happy to have most of the people who actually apply more than 10 years, because it's learning from your peer group. So that's why the more experienced the people in the classroom, the better the quality of discussions that we have in the class, they are much better. So the minimum work experience is 6 years, although we prefer more than 6. At the same time, you have to sit for GMAT. You have to have 16 years of education. That is actually an HEC requirement. And since we are giving out a degree, so we have to follow HEC rule, which is 16 years of education that you must have completed. And then once you have submitted your application, we would call you for an interview. And in your interview, mostly we are trying to gauge that what are you bringing to the class and how this Executive MBA would help you in your career. So these are the things that we're looking for.
Thank you very much, Mr. Asad. So the next question that we have is from Mr. Mudassir Awan, and he's basically interested in knowing that what is the most important aspect during the admission process. So basically, as far as I can get, is he's basically interested in knowing that which area are we going to give the most weightage when it comes to the evaluation.
See, we look at 3 things, and I'm not sure how I would say that which one is more important than the other. So we look at your past experience, where you have worked, what kind of experience that you have gained. We also, at the same time, look at your past academic record and see that in your undergrad, what kind of degree that you did. It doesn't have to be a business degree. It can be social sciences. It could be a doctorate in something. So we have had all sorts of people with psychology degrees and things like that, which is good. So they are the ones who actually benefit the most from an Executive MBA degree, because business is something that we can talk about at Lums. And at the same time, we also look at your GMAT score. So let me put it this way, that if your GMAT score is not very strong, your work experience should be very, very strong. So it would compensate your low GMAT score. So we actually look at all 3. So we look at your GMAT score, we look at your past academic record, and we look at your experience.
Thank you very much, Mr. Asad. So the next question that I have is basically a student is interested in knowing what is student life like for an Executive MBA student, and I think one of our alumni should address the question. Ms. Uzma is basically interested in addressing the query, if you can please.
Yeah, actually it's really challenging, but gradually you will learn the art to handle the different situation and work more efficiently, effectively under the stress, because the program asks you to do different tasks in a limited time period. So you get used to, and you will be surprised. You gain more understanding of yourself during the program, that you will be able to manage the studies and your work life as well.
Thank you very much, Ms. Uzma, for the brilliant answer. All right, so we are waiting for the next question. Yeah.
I think let's also ask Umar and Amma.
Yes,
that,
please.
What was their experience like while they were engaged in Executive MBA?
Executive MBA was quite challenging yet rewarding, and during that tenure I felt that both my professional and my personal life was became a little bit more tedious, in a way that obviously I was managing my family, my studies, and besides that, more important, we were busy in managing our career. So by the end of those 2 years, I think that I was able to manage everything quite well, and that is something that added on in the experience that I got from the Executive MBA program at the end. So we were managing multiple things, and that is was quite helpful.
Okay, regarding me, I can give you a slightly longer answer because something which I explored about myself. So when I came, before going into details, just the things which were told, which were taught during the program is there is only a few ways to sort things out in life. So suppose this is what Lums teaches you as well. You identify a problem, you analyze, identify a problem. What solutions? What possible solutions do you think of a problem is, and which one do you prefer and why? Which means that this is a way a case study is solved, discussed, and worked upon in the class. So while you are doing all these things, you actually develop your own point of view. The things don't stop over here. When you are sitting in a class, you have roughly a 30-second window to establish yourself that you are the man to be, or a woman, or a lady to be depended on, and this is what happens in the meetings as well. So if you're sitting in a meeting where busy executives are there, and you are basically trying to create an impression, so you get first 30-second, and if you are able to put a point of view across, only then you are able to move further. So this is what happens in the class as well. So you come to the class prepared. You're not supposed to speak what's written in the case. You're not supposed to speak what's written in the book. Rather, you have to give your own point of view. So you actually give your own analysis. You look at multiple solutions, and then you give your own answer, and this becomes your own point of view. This actually helps you in your practical life as well. So life at Lums is fairly rewarding, and this is something which I never thought, that you should always go in a meeting prepared. Generally, before that time, I used to not go to the meetings prepared. I used to be overconfident that I can go to the meeting and should not be a problem. But if you have not left any stone unturned, like you do before you go to the Lums class, it actually helps you a great deal. So life at Lums, the experience was as such, it was preparing us for the practical life, and it helped me a great deal. If you ask me more questions, I'll tell you how it helped me.
Thank you, Umar, for beautifully explaining the experience. So next we have a question from Hira Shahid, and she is interested in knowing that are we accepting GRE scores for the Executive MBA program, and what would be the duration of the degree program?
Yes, we are. So both GRE and GMAT are accepted, and the duration is roughly about 3 to 2 months. So you start in August of the first year, and then you graduate sometime in May of the second year. So it's roughly about 22 months it takes to finish the degree.
Thank you, Mr. Asad. All right. So next we have a question from Uzair Akbar, and Mr. Uzair is particularly interested in getting this query answered from Mr. Umar Ghuman. And the query is, I was really interested in having a career guidance as to if Executive MBA from Lums would be beneficial for my career boost within the telecom industry.
Yeah, absolutely. So I work for Samsung. I'm working as a head of business for Pakistan and Afghanistan. So we're almost a similar kind of field. Now it does help. When I got into Executive MBA program, there was a prophecy given to us that if you get into your MBA program within 2 years, either you'll be promoted or you'll get to a new organization and at a higher position. So this we initially didn't believe in that. In my case, it came true and it didn't. It came true for the reasons that I started getting a lot of job offers after I graduated during my studies at Lums. So, and after I graduated, quite a lot of them. And it didn't hold true for one reason, that I did not opt to go for the organizations which were approaching till the time I got the one which I was looking for, and Samsung happened to be that one. So and before getting into Samsung, I had about 5 to 6 job offers, and they were and within my own organization I did move up the ladder, and after that I moved to a senior position over here. And like I said previously, it helped me become more confident, increase my analytical skills, be more thoughtful and more expressive in terms of contributing into the meetings. So it is helping me a great deal in showing my leadership and deliver good results for the company. Yes, Executive MBA is a great platform and a great opportunity. 2 things happen to you. One, the brand Lums gets attached with you. The second one is you become worth it to go for a bigger role.
Thank you very much, Mr. Umar. All right, so the next question we have from Mr. Jalal Afzal, and he is basically interested in knowing, is there any growth after graduating from the Executive MBA program? I think if Miss Aima can take up. Oh, all right, Mr. Furqan, if he can take up this query. Sure.
So I'll just give you an empirical evidence that in a class of 24, in the batch of 2018, 5 of them changed the job within the first year of their graduation, and all of them got promoted to a better level. So absolutely it gives you a career boost. And as Mr. Ghuman already approached that, there are 2 reasons for it. One is that already you're learning, you are in an atmosphere where you're learning from your peers. Second, it's the faculty. So it really broadens the way you think and the way you approach towards different problems. It's also important to mention here that because of your degree you are perceived in a better way. So when you go in the market, people perceive, there is a Lums brand phenomenon that gets attached to your profile. That is one. Second, when you land in an interview, you know how to deal with things better. You have you have done so many cases already, so you know what are the different business scenarios that can come in a regular business case. And all you have to do is just explore your mind a little bit and use one of those scenarios and handle the situation. So because you have been trained in a certain way, you can manage complexity and complex business scenarios in a much better way as compared to a regular layman. So definitely it's going to give you a better understanding of business. It would land you to better opportunities, and above all, the learning through peer group and faculty that you have here, it is really unmatchable.
Thank you very much, Mr. Furqan.
I think maybe Emma.
Would you like to add anything?
My story is a little different because what I've experienced, it's a complete transition from one area to another. I was working in the education sector and I worked there for almost 10 years when I joined Executive MBA program. And what it did is that it gave me corporate orientation, corporate outlook, and then I decided to move towards corporate sector. While I was studying, I got multiple job offers, but I opted for KPMG. And currently in this organization, Executive MBA is helping me a lot because the kind of atmosphere it gave me during the 2 years through different subjects and globalization module. It has given me the confidence to go to and interact with different industries with confidence, and give them this space that I am well equipped and I know the things in more detail, because Executive MBA has given that insight through the courses that I have studied.
Thank you very much, Aima. All right, so the next question that we have is probably Mr. Asad would like to answer it. How does one can apply for the financial assistance for Executive MBA? Plus, are there any financial support that available for the Executive MBA program?
See, Executive MBA is probably the only degree at Lums where all the participants are working full-time. So it is expected, and it's the only degree which does not have any support available. The only support that is available is a MCB loan. So we have a contract with MCB Bank, and if you want, we can help you get the loan which you have to repay once you graduate. So the good thing is that all the loan that you would get, you don't have to pay it while you are at Lums. Once you graduate, then you get to pay. And normally they charge a very they charge a very good rate, which is CABOR plus a percentage or 2 percentage point. So it is at a very favorable terms that you can get.
Thank you very much, Mr. Asad. So the next question is from Ms. Alia Khan, and she is interested in knowing how one can balance personal and professional life while doing Executive MBA program from Lums. If any, Mr. Furqan, if you can.
I think all of them. I think since some of them are going through it.
Yeah.
Well, I do not want to sugarcoat this. No matter how prepared you are coming, you'll be ready for some surprises. So yes, it is very complex and it is very challenging, especially to manage it with 8 hours to 10 hours job every day, and you have to commit your weekends, and it's not just the weekends. So you have the workload to manage, but see, at the end of the day, it is manageable. So it is challenging, but it is manageable, and the motivation should be that it is rewarding at the end. So if you're going through a certain rigor, at the end of the day, you're taking back home, a pool of knowledge with you. Which is going to eventually help you. But having said that, absolutely, it's a very rigorous program. It is very challenging. You'll have moments of doubt while you're going through it. So yeah, be prepared for it.
Thank you, Furqan. Thank you very much. All right. So the next question is, Umar, would you like to add anything? Yeah, sure.
It's obviously from the outside, when you look at it and people are saying it's rigorous. And it more or less looks like a rat race that once you graduate, you'll be happy. But I tell you what, it's a path to happiness, and it is a path full of happiness. And I tell you, I thoroughly enjoyed the class discussions, the laughters that we had, and I used to look forward to towards the weekend to go and have fun in the class. In the first couple of weeks or months, you get a little bit more stressed out because you do not know the norms and you do not know where to look for the material and how do you prepare yourself. But eventually when you start looking around and the dynamics of the class, you learn it. So one thing which eased me out during the discussions with the professors right at the beginning of the degree, they said, if you get into Lums, there is a high probability that you'll get a degree. So the biggest challenge is how to get there. If you get there, you don't have to worry about it. You will do it. If I can do it, anybody can do it. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Umar. All right, so we have another question from Mr. Anwar Ehsan, and he is interested in knowing the difference between Executive MBA program and the regular MBA program, and how do one can differentiate between the both programs?
I think the biggest difference is that as far as our regular MBA program is concerned, it is for participants or candidates with very little experience, right? So we normally ask for 2 years, but even with less than 2 years of experience, we would interview you and see if you would be a good fit into the classroom. It's a full-time program, which means that you have to leave your job and be at Lums for 2 years. So that kind of gives a break to your career, right? The beauty of Executive MBA is it's a weekend only. So every single person in the classroom has a full-time job. They are working from Monday to Fridays, and then on alternate weekends they come to Lums for the classes. So that's the biggest difference. Plus, as far as Executive MBA is concerned, so this is for people who don't want a career break. This is for people who have the experience. So, for example, if you have 2 years of experience, unfortunately, you are not a candidate for our MBA or Executive MBA program. So you have to have minimum of 6 years and minimum of 6 years of experience. So that's the biggest difference between our MBA and Executive MBA. As far as I teach in both MBA and Executive MBA, and I think both the group they bring a lot of I guess different kind of ideas to the classroom. Executive MBA, in a sense, because of their experience, because of their jobs and all the travel that they have done, what they bring to the class, it's very, very practical, very, very hands-on kind of a thing. MBA, they are still maturing, so that's why it's a very different classroom when it comes to, so the kind of ideas, the kind of cases which are discussed, it may be the same case, but the way it's taught to Executive MBA participants and the way it's taught to MBA participants, it's very, very different because the experience level is entirely different between MBA and Executive MBA.
Thank you very much, Mr. Asad. All right, so here is a question with us. Zainab Khan read on our website about the Globalization Module, and she is basically interested in knowing if any of us can please elaborate on what it is all about.
Sure, I'll let Furqan, because he went through it last year,
Yeah,
so he was a participant, so he can...
I think that, Globalization Module is one of the highlights of the program. The kind of exposure that you get, especially visiting all these, big startup unicorns of the Silicon Valley, and it's basically, it is divided into kind of what I would say a theoretical and a practical approach. So you get to know about, for example, if you want to cut off from the corporate structure and start up your own company, so what are some of the things that you need to go through? Some of the examples that you have universally, some of the businesses that are doing good internationally, what are the reasons for that? Understanding the whole startup ecosystem of United States, what is the incubation culture? So, it's more of a, it gives you an entrepreneurial spirit, and for example, if you want to pursue something of your own, there is a possibility. So you get to you get to visit some of the companies over there. You also get to visit some of the venture capitalists, and they will give you their own feeds about what is their thought process about how to get capital if you want to start your own company. And it is, I would say once again, that is one of the highlights of the program.
Thank you very much, Furqan. All right, so next we have a question for Mr. Imtiaz Ali, and he's saying, if I'm already working and have years of experience, why would I need to give either GMAT or GRE? A very common question that we come across.
I guess I'll take that one. Yes, so as far as GMAT is concerned, so we accept application from all over Pakistan, and the education system and the undergrad degrees that people have done, it's not at par, right? So some people have done undergrad degrees which are really credible, some of them are not so credible, and GMAT is a standardized test, so it kind of gives us an indication that if this person has done, it's just a math and English, so it's not a very difficult test. It's just math and English and logic, right? And at minimum, you need that logic to read all the cases that we give. You need the minimum math requirement to solve some of the cases that we give in various courses. So GMAT is a very good indicator for us that if this person has done GMAT and he has scored a decent score. So, and also seriousness of a person that you are sitting, because I know, I understand that GMAT, while you're working full time, it truly is a drag to sit for GMAT. But at the same time, it kind of helps us choose the right candidate, because we don't want a candidate who after, let's suppose after 6 months or after a year, we may have to separate from the program based on their performance. So GMAT at least give us that kind of an indication that this person, at least when we give them X number of pages to read every single day, he would be able to do it. So that's the main reason. And at the same time, the other reason, and I guess a more important reason, is that as far as Lums SDSP is concerned, we are in the process of getting accredited by AACSB, which is one of the biggest accreditation in the world. We will be the first university to get accredited in Pakistan by AACSB. And it's also their requirement that there has to be some standardized tests so that they can compare our students with students world over. So Lums is truly a global university, right? So our standards are same as any good university worldwide. So in that light, GMAT score is accepted in all good universities. So that's why it's also one of the requirements at Lums.
Thank you very much for elaborating it. All right, so next we have a question from one of our live subscriber, Fawzia Mustafa, and she is asking, when is the next admission session, and is it only offered once a year?
Yes, so the admissions is once a year. Currently, actually, depending on how your seriousness, currently we are accepting application. The deadline for applying is May 16th. So if you have your application ready or you're thinking about it and you can get it to Lums by the 16th, we will be very happy to entertain. The classes are going to start mid-August. So if you want to apply this year, it's still possible, although it will be difficult, but it's possible to do it this year. But if you want to apply next year, the admission cycle starts sometime in November, and then the deadline ends sometime in May, and then we interview you, and the classes are going to start in August of each year.
Thank you very much, Asad. I'm sorry for bombarding you with a lot of questions.
That's
All
That's
right.
why
So
I'm here.
another question from another of our live subscriber, Ehtisham Khwaja, is asking, can one be admitted to a regular MBA and then be transferred to an executive MBA the next year if you lack in the experience requirement by a year? Do you want me to repeat it again?
Yeah, no, I got the question. But see, if you get into a regular MBA, so which means that you have left your job. So how can you fulfill the requirement next year when you are not working? So was that a trick question or what?
Yeah, I'm also
So
surprised.
and I think the short answer is no, that
Yeah.
won't be possible. So you have to have, see, it's our duty as far as Lums administration and faculty is concerned, that we want each and every person sitting in that classroom to give the best peer group, right? And so our focus is always on people with good stories to tell, with good careers. And we want to make sure that these are the kind of people we attract, and these are the kind of people who help each other out. So the biggest, I guess, takeaway, other than obviously education from Lums, is the networking effect, right? And I cannot emphasize enough that it's not only the executive MBA, it's also that you connect with all the companies in Pakistan and outside Pakistan through the Lums very, very strong alumni network. And I've seen, I've been with Lums for over 10 years, and I've seen that how students help each other from Lums. It's just beautiful. It's incredible that how much they take care of each other. So which is what you expect from good alumni network.
Thank you very much, Mr. Asad. So another question from another of our live subscriber, Samra Bassett. She is asking, what attendance do I need to maintain in order to graduate, and what is the maximum number of years within which I can complete my Executive MBA from Lums?
You should.
Okay, I guess so. So these are the technicalities. Okay, so so Omar is saying "chutti nahi milti yahan pe," so which is kind of true. So we won't because see, if you miss a class, it's not only you are losing out on the learning; it's also everyone in the classroom is missing out on your valuable feedback, right? And your dissection of the case. So we discourage people not coming to the class. But having said that, we understand that people are working full time. Sometimes there are unavoidable circumstances where you have to travel. It could be personal reason, it could be business reason or job reasons. So for each class, so we have 15 different courses that you have to take. So for each course, you can miss a maximum of 3 sessions. So out of the 16 sessions for each course, you can miss a maximum of 3 sessions, which is roughly about 20% of the classes. So which is I think most people basically fall within that. If you miss more than that, then you get an incomplete for that module, and you can repeat it next year. But we expect people to be there unless it's a true emergency. Then obviously you have to travel. But we do expect people to be in the classroom, because their presence in the classroom helps not only themselves, but it also helps all the other students. So that's why we want you. As far as what was that the question?
What is the maximum number of years?
The maximum number of years. So and that is basically HEC requirement. The maximum number of years are 4 years, that you can graduate in 4 years. So and we have had people who after the first year they said that we would like to freeze the degree and we would like to come back after a year or after 2 years, which is entirely possible. So but the maximum is 4 years that you can graduate in.
On the leave, I would just like to share my
Yeah,
experience.
please.
When I was about to get into Lums, I had a discussion before when I got the admission. I had to go for Hajj. But the attendance, there was no relaxation as such, but I was able to go away for 22 days, and I missed 2 sessions because it was the alternate weekend classes. So I was able to do that. And other than that, in the whole 2 years, I was able to, since I was working for a European company at that point in time, Tetra Pak, so I had to travel back and forth to Sweden and Dubai, and I had traveled quite a lot, and I was able to manage my travel schedule accordingly. Yeah. So yes, you get less number of days off, but still for all those who are working, it is quite manageable, because it haunts you from the outside that I might not be able to do it because I've got heavy travel schedule. But once you get into that and you are aligned with your bosses, I think you can always manage within those 15 days lag. We still have alternate weekends?
We have alternate weekends.
So it's a similar thing. So I think one can easily manage within 15 days.
And one more thing, we share the schedule. We share one full year of schedule with you, and exactly when the classes are going to happen. We don't have rescheduling. So once you know exactly when the classes are going to fall, it's much easier to manage. So there are no surprises, at least from our side. From your employer side, there could be surprises. But as far as Lums is concerned, no surprises. So we share everything up front, and hopefully then students manage, and most of them do manage. Sometimes obviously there are emergencies when you have to travel, but most people are able to manage. Ghufran, Osma, any because you're just about to graduate.
Yes. Well, the thing is that in our class, like we have 24 students, and we have people from all the sectors. We have from automobile industry, from FMCG, from banks, distribution, government sector. We have people from Pakistan Army. So, well, because you get the schedule so ahead of time, it is very easy for you to kind of plan things. So as long as you have understanding and an arrangement with your employer, managing the time schedule, the itinerary here is not going to be that much of a problem. So yeah, it is manageable.
Thank you very much, everyone. All right, so the next question is, can you please shed some light on the strengths of the faculty that are teaching at Executive MBA? How are they as teachers, as mentors? That question we have from Zainab Khan. Yes, Uzma would like to address that.
In my view, you will be able to get an opportunity to learn from the experienced faculty. Beyond their academic credentials, they have a breadth of substantial business experience. So they share their wisdom, and in the class, they work like as a facilitator. They facilitate the discussion, because in the case study method, normally they put you in a situation, in a real life business situation, where you have to take the decision in a given limited time and limited information. So it really allows to come into the class with the enriched experience in terms of discussion, because the class is totally diversified and the faculty play a role as a facilitator, and they direct the class to be in a more productive discussion.
Thank you very much, Uzma. I'm glad that we are getting some very intellectual questions and very technical questions as well here. So we have a question from Nabil Anwar Sheikh, and he's saying, I am the only managing director at my family business. Taking 2 weeks off for the summer orientation program, bracket SOP, is next to impossible. Is there any alternative for that?
It's 10 days. So it's not exactly, roughly about 2 weeks. See, summer orientation is orientation for all the students. And it's important. It's important that you are here for those 10 days. And that's one of the times that we expect you guys to be here. Unfortunately, there is... right now, there's no alternative for summer orientation, but if in the evenings you still want to do something, there's still a possibility. Although those first 10 days, when you are still trying to get accustomed to Lums and the way how to read cases and things like that, it's a stretch. It's definitely difficult, but I've known people. So we have had MDs, and we have had people from very, very high places, vice presidents of companies, and they have been able to manage their time to be here. So unfortunately, at this time, there's no other alternative for it. But we can definitely think of any alternative that we could introduce in the future.
Thank you very much, Mr. Asad. All right, so the next question is there any fixed number of intake in each session? That is from Mr. Uzaid Khawer.
No, there is no fixed number of intake. So if we have a very good applicant pool, and if we want to increase the batch size, we absolutely can. So it really depends on what kind of applications we get. It really depends on how many people we feel qualified to be in that classroom. So there's never a set number on that. So sometimes it goes beyond 30. Sometimes it's between 20 and 30. But as long as we have good applicant pool, which will make a good peer group, we'll have that. So there's no set number.
Thank you very much. So the next question is from Mahnoor Tariq, and she's asking, what kind of growth does Lums Executive MBA offer? I am asking in terms of leadership and managerial capabilities, and has this program contributed to your specific function and skill set? Probably she is interested in having this query answered from one of our alumni. Sure. If you can take it up, please.
Can you just
yeah, sure. I would be happy to repeat it for you. What kind of growth does Lums Executive MBA offer? I am asking in terms of leadership and managerial capabilities, and has this program contributed to your specific function and skill set?
Okay, Executive MBA basically gives you orientation of different subjects, different courses and areas, and depending upon your capability, you can further strengthen it. And you have to assess your capabilities, readiness assessment, that whether you are ready to take a plunge and move to a better position and take the challenges that are coming forth, and are you ready for that? So you can obviously develop yourself based on the capabilities you have and the future aspirations, what you want to be in future. All the courses that are offered, the whole program is quite immersive, just like Furqan has mentioned, and Uzma has also shared that the case study method, the way teachers teach, the discussion sessions, the whole skill set of the class, that is quite diversified. And when they share their perceptions, their idea, their opinion, their background related to the topic, so it helps you in developing your own understanding of the subject matter, and then you can take yourself further.
Thank you, Aima. I think Uma would like to add into that.
I'd just like to mention my personal experience. Before that, I'll just quote one latest research that is the brain development. The researcher's name is Laura Boyd. She's from University of British Columbia. She has reached a conclusion that human brain never stops developing. All you have to do is to put some more stress on it. So Lums is already doing it. So and it also gives you a conducive environment to develop. So if we don't put stress, we don't develop. So you don't have to worry about that. Your skill set would not be improved. It would definitely, because you'll be put through certain circumstances. So in my case, I had a fear of unknown with numbers, and I never knew that I could be not even better. I could be pretty good in numbers. I never realized that, because in my intermediate I took pre-medical and I wanted to be a doctor, so I thought mathematics is not right. But having said that, going to Lums, like I mentioned earlier, the analytical skills and making some sense out of numbers, it started working for me. So right now, my new role, where I have 2 countries, sales, marketing, supply chain, key account management, distributor management, everything is comes under me. And 5-6 years back, before I did my executive MBA, I never thought I would be able to do it. But now I remember or memorize. I've been able to train my mind to understand all the numbers. I was able to change my career to this, where you have daily sales targets. You have the model Samsung mobile phones model specifications. You know your quarterly numbers. You know your monthly targets, yearly targets, payment status. So the same Umar Gulman could not think of this before, at least executive MBA. And a lot of people started realizing that I was able to contribute more with numbers in the meetings after finishing the degree. So it has worked for me, and it does, and it should work for others as well. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Aima. All right. Uzma would like to add into that
I would
as
add
well.
a little bit that Lums is going to beat you, heat you, and mold you, and you can pick the shape whatever you want. So your future success is basically depending on the decision which you take today. So if you want to grow really in the future and you want to control your future, so starting the executive MBA is the best choice.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Uzma. All right. So here we have a question from Aisha Adil, and she is basically asking, does Lums offers any distance learning program for the executive MBA?
Within the courses that you take, so there are 15 courses that you have to take on campus. There are also 6 other courses that you take from Harvard online. So once you get admitted to Lums, so we give you access to Harvard website, and there are 6 courses that you have to complete from Harvard University. So it's a combination. So 6 courses from Harvard, 15 courses from Lums, and then there's a group project, and then the Globalization Module. So that's basically, in a nutshell, that's what you get to take. Other courses.
Executive MBA, can it be a distance learning?
Oh, the whole degree cannot be a distance learning. As of now, although we are toying with the idea that maybe we can make one or two courses or some courses online or distance learning, but at this point we don't have any course. The 15 courses that we teach at Lums, none of them are through distance learning. It's only the Harvard courses that you get to take is from distance learning.
It is part of
Yeah.
MBA.
Yeah, that's part of.
Thank you, Mr. Asad.
Yeah.
All right. So another question from Mr. Awan, and he is asking: Lums claims to offer collaborative learning and experiential learning. How would you like to address that in terms of executive MBA teaching philosophy?
Should I?
Sure.
Yes.
Well, see, you have a lot of experience in the class. Like you have people from all the sectors and from all the functional areas. So, like you have people from different industries, and then you have people from different functional areas. You have people from marketing, from finance, from production, from hardcore engineering. So they, and you know, the learnings that you have from the peers is the actual offering of the Lums structure. So you know you will be given a lot of group assignments, and then before start of every class there's a discussion room, and the discussion room comprises of it's composed of 5 to 6 students. So each one of them would bring their own perspective of their understanding of the case, and so that's how you get to learn. People get to learn from you, and you would get to learn from all sorts of different people. So yes, there's you have to collaborate. I mean, if you don't collaborate, you'll probably not go too far with the structure that we have here.
Thank you.
So
I think Ima would like. Yeah.
Oh, sure.
I would like to
Yeah.
share a few experience related to experiential learning. When I was enrolled in this program, we were given an assignment that was related to marketing. Before that, I never interacted with the marketing department of my organization. So for that, I went over there and I actually asked them that what is going on and the details that were required for that marketing assignment. And I got to know more about it besides I was just reading. Likewise, when we got assignments related to supply chain operations, we were asked to go and actually dig down deep into the departments to see that what is actually happening, and that strengthened and deepened our learning that whatever we were getting in our classroom. So that is something that is obviously an add-on, and then that helped in understanding the areas and the topics and the courses.
Yeah, let me also see, because it's a very diversified group, so there is cross-industry best practices which are discussed in the classroom. At the same time, the Executive MBA project, so we ask students to do that project for their own company. So it's essentially a consulting project for your own company. So what happens, so I'll give you an example of one of the project that I was the advisor for. And the company had asked the student that, can you make the next 10-year strategy plan? The company was in polyester fiber, and knowing that how China is actually becoming a big player within Pakistan, so they provide not very good quality polyester fiber, but it's cheap. So that's why a lot of companies in Pakistan are using it. So they wanted to come up with a plan that in 10 years, would we still be here in Pakistan, or the China market would take over Pakistani polyester fiber. So they did a 10-year strategic plan, and that plan got implemented in that company. So these are the kind of things. So it's very, very beneficial for the employers. So so we have a lot of employers who actually subsidize or pay for the Executive MBA. So for example, we have partners with various banks, we have partners with various companies which would pay for the tuition, and they're investing not only into their employees' future, they're also investing in their own future, because all these employees, whatever ideas that they learn over the weekends, they actually bring it back on Monday and they try to implement it. So you don't really have to wait for 2 years. Just like in a regular MBA, you can actually, whatever you learn over the weekends, you can actually bring it to work on Monday and try to implement and hopefully do good.
I think Mr. Umar would also like to add into it.
Yeah, collaborative and experiential learning. There are two things. Like I must said, you can always go back to your own organization and learn more about your organization. In my case, I did. There are multiple projects you do in almost each course. So I was able to do a lot of projects on Tetra Pak, but later on, I realized in my capstone project, final project, I realized that if I just do another daily project, it will not be good. So I went back to our guide and I asked them, want to do a project on Disney. So Disney wanted to come in the clothing line in Pakistan. So we were able to do a complete feasibility for them, and which helped them realize that this is not the right time to come over here because there were a lot of counterfeit products which are being sold and there was no law being implemented on those. So it helped them save their investments as well. So there was a Disney local franchise guy was spending millions of rupees annually to secure that thing. And same goes for other projects that we did. So, and one thing which other than the projects, which is the business game, where you are mark stats, where you are able to actually live through the real life marketing, sales, business management experience, where you invest and you get to know a thing in 2, 3 or 4 hours time that you have been able to invest more or not. It gives you a perspective of a real life, and I think it has helped many of my class fellows in getting the feel of the real life scenario where you're given a marketing budget, you're given a product, you're given a market, and you have to sell it, and you input as a group, so you understand the group dynamics, and then next day you realize that you've made a lot of losses, and then you have to change your strategy. So it goes both ways. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Umar. So that was all from our side for today's Executive MBA session in terms of the questions that we received so far. Now, lastly, I would like to request Mr. Asad Alam to please share a final message with all of our Executive MBA applicants and wish them luck for their applications.
Sure. I'll give you a wrap-up. So the biggest takeaway is that you don't have to put your career on a hold to earn this degree. You can be working full-time and you can still earn this degree. You will learn to be a better member, a strong leader. It's an excellent investment into your future. It's a general management degree, so the core is general management. So because we believe that you need to know all functions in a business, not just one area. Highly experienced classmates with average experience of over 10 years, a powerful global alumni network. Online classes are held on Saturdays and Sundays, every alternate weekend, and then award-winning faculty, small class sizes, and collaborative networking opportunities. So these are some of the highlights of Executive MBA, and I wish you good luck. Please apply. If you still have questions, please, you can always write to the marketing department, and I can answer them eventually once I get to see them. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much for all the panelists for coming. These are our ambassadors. These are all Lums graduates. They have gone through the experience, so I thought they would be the best people to talk about how was their experience and how they have gained from it. And we have many other stories just like them that we could share, and we will keep on sharing. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Asad Alam. Lastly, I would also like to thank Mr. Asad Alam, our esteemed faculty member, our prestigious alumni, for taking out the time out of their busy schedule and joining us for today's session. I would like to thank all of you for your time and joining us for today's session. In case any of your queries remain unaddressed, you can always reach out, connect with us through our social media links, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and you can also write to us through email at communications@lums.edu.pk. Thank you very much for your time, and on behalf of Lums, we wish you all the best. Thank you very much.